Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we are being joined by Luide Rocha. Well, we're going to be having a discussion about science and faith. My name is Manuel Pereira, so I'm happy to be joining Luide here tonight. So again, thank you for joining us. And to begin, we're going to do an opening prayer. So let us be thankful for this wonderful opportunity to learn and grow. Let us be thankful to all our friends and family around us, as difficult as they may be. Let us remember that these relationships are important for not only our growth and evolution, but theirs as well. Let us remember to embrace more peace and love into our hearts, to be more understanding to those around us, to help a stranger if the opportunity arises. Let's remember that everything that we go through is an opportunity to learn. It's another experience that we need to go through to learn something new, to teach others, to understand each other, and continuing to live together, evolving as one human family. So bringing ourselves here to this moment, bringing ourselves here at this time, let's be grateful for this opportunity again. And with an open heart and an open mind, let us embrace this talk and these topics. And so be it.
So be it.
All right. So tonight we are going to be talking about science and faith. So it's a very interesting topic, one that's been around for a very long time. Mm-hmm. They seem to be at odds with each other, but they seem to be very complementary to each other. And I guess that's where a good place where we can begin tonight. So I'll ask you the question. What does it seem, or why does it seem that there is this war between science and faith, or spirituality, or religion?
It's funny that you asked that, Manny, but people see that as a war. But every war, it's the belief of two persons, right? There is a belief in this side and a belief in this side. There is a point of view on this side and a point of view on this side. That's what is the war here. If you eliminate these two people here and put it away, there is no longer war, is it?
I guess you just have ideas.
Exactly. You just have ideas. So people keep saying there was a war between evil and good and evil. There was a war against this and that. It's not. The war that everybody knows is just a belief system that each person has. Right? So, and that's why it's been going on for a long time. It's us. It's not faith and it's not science. It's us. The problem is with us because, like we were talking here before starting this workshop, we overcomplicate everything. That's what we do. Instead of falling to the path, the easy path. And the easy path is the path of loving and respecting people and understanding that everybody is on a different level of understanding. So is he. So there is no war. It's just a belief system and ideas that we have around this subject. If we ask, I can ask anybody, or a lot of the religions people keep saying, I'm religion, I have faith. And if you ask any religious person, what is faith, they're gonna complicate themselves.
Well, it's a difficult question to answer.
It is, right?
It
so I can take you up to it. What do you think faith is? Faith is.
Right. I guess in a way, science is easier to prove because you have tangible evidence of something.
But science never says they prove anything. They experiment things. Right? Because when you get to a point that you prove something, you're limiting yourself.
And you're almost putting like a label on it too.
Exactly. You put a label, that's it. You no longer can cross that path. And that's what's happened with people today, with us today. We have our labels, we have our belief system, and we cannot go further because we put a label on it. And then our pride comes in and say, listen, but your belief system is this. Now you're going to jump to the other side. No, there is no sides. Ignorance is a bliss.
Right, right.
It is, because if you put yourself on a position that you are ignorant and you are always learning, you're never going to put a label on anything. You're always going to be open,
right,
to change your belief system, to expand your belief system. And that's what science do. Most of the scientists today are saying, I don't know.
Right, they're leaving that door open.
Exactly.
A little bit.
Because they already hit that wall so many times and say, listen, this is not the way to go.
Right, right, right.
Nothing's firm here yet.
Right.
We don't know anything yet.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you know, when you were saying about how humans complicate things, I mean, that's kind of almost a cliche. You know, we know we complicate things. But, you know, it's interesting because when you look back throughout history, at any point in time that humans were alive, we always thought that we knew everything at that particular moment.
Exactly.
So whenever you had these certain scientists, they're probably religious too, saying that, hey, you know, we think the earth is round, not flat. And then all of a sudden, you know, they're like, hey, we got to get rid of these people because they're ruining our ideas. They're ruining
exactly. Our belief system.
Our belief system.
Our infrastructure.
Right, right. Yeah, but we see that so many times. It happened with Socrates. You know, they blamed him that he was corrupting the youth.
Yeah.
But all he was doing was he was telling them to ask questions.
Exactly. Ask questions and keep your mind open. That's
right,
it.
Right. You know, experience the world for what it is. Don't take anybody's word for it.
Exactly.
Ask questions.
Don't believe my story.
Right.
Don't believe his story. Make your own story, but leave the doors open.
Right. And this is what we're seeing with scientists now. We have science that really, you know, there's still a lot yet to understand on this planet and in this world and this universe, but they still say, hey, you know what, we figured out all these things, so, you know, these are all things that were at one point attributed to God because they weren't understood.
Yes.
And then now we understand them more, so now we push God aside a little bit. We push the spirituality part aside because we think that we know.
We know enough.
And we say that we know.
Yes.
And then we tell other people that, hey, we know, we have these facts.
And that's the problem when you give facts. When I say facts, because facts is always related to truth, that's another point. But the scientists say we have these facts at hand related to this subject, so they push God and science because we don't need God anymore. Right? That's what's happening. So the science became dogmatic the same way as religion is.
It's almost like wanting to protect the belief system.
That's
to protect the control structure.
Right. But the new wave of scientists now are seeing in a different way. They're saying, I don't know, there is a lot to learn, okay? There is a lot of path to be taken. From this year, we can go this and this and this and that. So they are open their minds. And this needs to happen with the people of faith also. They need to open their mind. We need to open our mind. When somebody comes in and say, I'm religious, it's because they already set the idea into the he has faith in God, he believes in God, and there is no opening for nothing else. And that's a problem.
Right, and then also certain religions are very rigid too.
Very, very rigid.
So, and it's you know, it's a human thing. You know, life is complicated. You know, humans are complicated creatures. So whenever we're given, you know, an idea or we're given this framework of how the world works, you know, we hold on to that. It's very difficult to kind of maybe, you know, spread that out a little bit and fill in the gaps with something else and ask questions and.
Because pride, if I change size, if I ask questions, people is going to think that my faith is broken.
Right. And then they feel broken.
They feel broken. And this is no longer faith. This is fanaticism. Fanaticism. Thank you. That's what it is.
Right.
I was watching a documentary on Amazon Prime. It's called Fall from Grace. And it's a documentary about religious people, pastors, priests, other religions, people spreading hate. Hate against homosexual, hate against transgender, hate against this, hate against that, and this and that. And the documentary is wonderful because the guy goes back into the into Jesus Christ that has nothing to do with religion or God, okay? And he says, look, this guy never spoke bad about anybody, not even the people that committed to be his enemy. He never lifted a finger against them. And the Christian and the people of faith are doing the opposite. They keep following these fake leaders that spread hate because they are full of hate. So they feel accommodated. They feel okay that somebody's just like them.
Right, and
they connect.
And it's not only that they're filled with hate, so to speak, but they're also filled with this overwhelming kind of confidence because they have their belief, right?
Yes.
And they put everything into it. And not to say that they're 100% wrong, but whenever people like you or someone else or like me, they come and they say, hey, they kind of try to maybe paint this different picture of how Jesus lived his life. They say, no, I have my proof.
My belief system.
Right. They say, don't mess with my don't mess with my belief.
Yeah.
Now you're talking like blasphemy,
Yeah, it's blasphemy. They don't accept it. So because they are mixing two different things: belief and devotion. Okay, I'm going to ask a question. How many hands
goes into that?
Yes. How many hands do you have?
2 hands.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Do you believe that you have 2 hands?
I do.
Oh, no, you don't believe. You know.
I know I have 2 hands.
Right?
Yeah.
See, that's faith.
But I can see them. I can see it.
It doesn't matter, but you are.
I can feel it.
Exactly. Faith, you can feel. Faith, you are.
You have no doubts.
You have no doubts. You feel. Believe, you have doubts. You fight for your beliefs. When you have faith, there is no fight. You just spread what you are, just like Jesus Christ did. See the difference between belief and devotion. When you are devoted, devotion is a strong power that the person has. And you're going to see the person of faith is the person that has devotion. When somebody comes here and says, Luide, I'm devoted to the center. What does this mean? He doesn't come here because he believes in something. He comes here and he does what he does because he feels. It's different. It is in him, on his emotions. But when you come here because you believe in something, if it comes another thing outside of this belief that you believe also, is going to steer you away from here.
So here's a good question. So a lot of scientists are atheists, and there's a lot of people now who are seemingly becoming, who are rejecting spirituality, and they're becoming, more atheistic because it's more, maybe it makes more sense for them. It's more simple. It's maybe they can fit it into a nice little box and they can they can go home. They feel safe and secure. So why do you think there are so many people rejecting spirituality and becoming atheists? And maybe the belief in science has a big part to do with that.
Believe in science. See, you use the right word, but they are not devoted to science. Because the person that is devoted to science, I'm going to mention a scientist here, Albert Einstein. You see the career of Albert Einstein. He was devoted to science. And it gets to a point that he leaves that old scientist and becomes a new one. He starts talking about creation. He starts talking about God, but not on a religious way.
Right.
He talks about a more broad way, showing us that we are part of something way bigger than we think we are.
Right.
And he starts going into more to spirituality, but he doesn't mention that. Do you understand? So that's what happened to people. People become atheists, or I don't believe in God anymore, because they don't devote themselves into that. They want everything here. God is good. Okay, God is good. Give me the money, give me this, give me that. Okay, God didn't give me this. I don't believe in him anymore. So I'm an atheist because I see so many bad things happen in the world and God doesn't do anything. He doesn't even understand God. So we are all a little bit hypocrite because we talk about things and we judge things without knowing, without being devoted to that.
Right, and even spirituality and a belief in a higher power, we're not capable of understanding that whole.
We're
space.
not.
It's beyond our comprehension.
It's beyond.
And
we are so far away from that.
And when you say that, we can't comprehend that.
Yes.
Because we're claiming that we know. We're claiming that we know everything.
Or science is claiming, and the religious people are claiming.
Right. The religious people have all the answers. And
have all the answers about God. You need to take this path, because if you don't take this path, you're going to go to hell. And if you take this path, you're going to go to heaven. Everything good is going to happen to you. And that's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah, because everything isn't so black and white all the time.
It wasn't so black and white because we don't know anything yet. Okay? If a religious people talk to a person that is not religious, say, listen, come over here, see if you like it, enjoy it, find your own questions, find your answers, make your own questions without any judgment, it will be much different. If people say, why God does interfere in this and this, and if that person will say, I don't know really, because we don't know a lot about God yet as a religious person. We need to together have this understanding. A lot of people say, oh, God is love. Okay, God is love. It is love. But where is the love on you?
Yeah.
So, you see, that's the next step that we need to take it with ourselves. Keep the doors open. Okay? The belief system needs to change from belief to devotion. So you feel, and then you know, then you have faith. And the scientists, the same thing. At the end, they're going to get to a corner, and they're going to do like all brilliant scientists did. They kept this door open to spirituality.
Right. And the truth is that there could be many scientists who do have those doors open, but because of their scientific integrity or their position, they can't talk about it.
They can't talk about it.
As soon as they do, guess what? They get shut down, or their grants stop coming in, or they get fired, and
exactly.
They have to stick to a very rigid, scientific, no room for anything,
William Crookes in the 19th century. William Crookes was this a British scientist that invented X-ray.
The Crookes tube.
Yeah, the Crookes tube. And after that, he started working with his wife because she was a physical medium. She was able to materialize other spirits. And he did a lot of experience with materialized spirit, with ectoplasm and everything else.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
William Crookes? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I just thought he was a scientist.
No.
Well,
so years and years of study with Kate King. It was the name of the spirit that he used to materialize for him, Catholic King. He materialized many times. He took pictures, he took the weight, he took the measure, he put her inside hot wax. He did everything with a spirit, okay? And there was a book also that he wrote about that. But after all the experiment, the scientific community put him outside. The same thing happened to a friend here in Miami who does regression. I remember 20 years ago, 25 years ago, or maybe more than that, 30 years ago, when he used to go in the interviews on radio, He couldn't say, the guy asked, do you believe in reincarnation? He couldn't say that he believed in yes or no. Because he's still a doctor, and he could not compromise his position. Today, he's no longer a doctor. He's just focused on past life regression and future life forward. But now he talks about that. But he's no longer part of the scientific community. But when he was part of the scientific community, and I don't judge him because he has mouth to feed. He needs to, he needs the money to pay his bill and so on and so forth. And he chose that, and I respect him for that.
Right.
Okay? But that's the problem, and you're right. So most of the scientists are dogmatic, just like religious people are. If you don't go my way, there is no way.
Right, right.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, and there have been many scientists who have come out and they try to, when they do their research, they come closer to this area of unknown, this area of spirituality that they can't explain.
Exactly.
And then once they start, reporting on those things, then all of a sudden they get shunned by all their peers. All the academic people that they're involved with, they don't call them anymore. They get pushed out, and
that's what happened with Jung and
yes.
Freud. Jung went to the spiritual. He started touching the spirituality side, mediumship, and this and that. Freud shut the door on him.
Right, right. And I believe Freud, in his practice, he was experienced this transference of thoughts.
Transfer of thoughts.
I think that's where the word transference comes from, because he was, he spun it in a scientific way and gave an explanation for it. But really, it was this psychic projection of thoughts between people, and he was experiencing this in his practice.
But he pushed into the physical side.
Right, or he really didn't talk about it.
He never explored that.
Right, right.
He never
Jung was more open to it.
Of course, Jung explored the whole range of things.
Right, right.
He kept it open, and he kept exploring, and keep going.
Yeah, and it's funny because Jung is one of the psychologists, or maybe psychoanalysts, that
psychotherapist.
Yeah, psychotherapist. That whenever like if you were to go into study psychology, they don't really recommend Jung as much as they recommend a lot of the other people, because he kind of he goes into the outskirts of what can
spirituality,
what can be proven. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And people don't want that. People don't want that. It's going to get too complicated. I don't want to study that. I already studied this. Why am I going to go in this side?
Right, right, right. You have your field of study.
I'm comfortable here.
Which is your expertise.
That's what exactly happened with the religious person. I'm comfortable here with my beliefs. I know if I'm good, I'm going to go to heaven. If I'm bad, I'm going to go to hell.
Yeah, why would I give that up?
Why I'm going to give that up?
Yeah.
Who would? But it's not it. It's not only that. We have so much to learn, so much to conquer, so much to expand a spirit. Like this guy said, the worst thing for you to know is that you're going to live forever. And if you put this thought in your mind that you're going to live forever as a spirit, these limitations that we put it here for us today, there is no place. There is no place for these limitations anymore.
Yeah, and the things that we kind of fight over seem trivial, and all the little all the things we get angry for, and all the pride we have, and all the selfishness we have, like all of that really,
yes,
it starts to shed away.
It starts to shed away because there's no place for it. As soon as we started evolving as a spirit, you need to start putting the new knowledge in, giving more space for everything that you need to learn, everything that you need to change in your life, and so on and so forth.
Right.
It is scary for people to know that, what do you mean I don't know everything?
Right.
What do you mean my beliefs is not the absolutely truth?
Yeah. Or my life is already complicated enough as it is.
Yeah, my life is already complicated. But
I got bills to pay. I got taxes.
Exactly.
It's like I don't have time for all this other
stuff. Of course, because you focus your life in complicated things. We focus our lives in complicated things. We need to stop labeling things. We need to start taking the obstacles that we ourselves put it in our way. Like I said, every war is started with two people with two different beliefs, and because we don't respect one another, and that's why complication starts. It starts in a family. It starts in a couple. It starts in boyfriend, girlfriend. It starts in a friendship, because we have a hard time in understanding each other. We have a hard time respecting each other. And most of all, we have a very difficult time loving people. And it's easy to say, I love you, Manny, but when you do something nice for me, when you present me with a nice gift, when you do something for me. So that's the point that we need to focus right now.
Right.
It's on a bigger picture.
Right, right.
Let's focus on a bigger picture, on a devotion. If you are a religious person, devote yourself to your masters. If you're a scientific person, devote yourself to science, but devote, don't believe. Being devoted is to leave the door open to new things. If you're a religion, be devoted to Jesus Christ, but leave it open, just like he did. He never talked about anybody. He never mentioned nobody's name. He did the right thing. Follow your master the way he is. Okay? And so is for the science. Time is gone now, so.
Yes, yes, yes. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to learn new things. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, because that is how you are going to grow. There's a lot of emotions that we experience on this planet that we have to go through and work out and understand where they're coming from.
Yes.
And science can help us with that. Psychology, other fields of science.
Pull the anchor. Pull the anchor.
Yeah.
Leave the anchor inside the ship and let the ship sail.
Right. All right. Well, we are coming up at the end of our time. I'd like to thank you all for joining us. Again, my name was Manuel, and this is Luide Rocha.
Thank you.
So it was a great talk. Maybe we can do this again sometime.
Definitely.
Enjoy the setup. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Do you mind?
Yes, I'll do the
for us?
closing prayer. Huh?
Thank you very much.
Let's elevate our thoughts, vibrate on the studies here tonight. Let's put ourselves as living beings of the universe, immortal spirits that have all the eternity ahead of us. Let's focus in our development. Let's focus in the development of love, understanding, patience. Let's take from our heart. Let's make room inside of our heart for those divine gifts. Leaving out pride, selfishness. We are here tonight, blessed for this opportunity. Very thankful for each day, for each step taken, for bettering ourselves as human beings, as a spirit. So in the name of our Master, Jesus Christ, in the name of the mentors of our Spiritual Center, we ask permissions to end the workshop for tonight. So be it.
So be it. Thank you.